Greetings and welcome to Conversation with Tony Mobley. Today is July 29th, 2026. This is episode 217 of Conversation with Tony Mobley, 5 years of conversations. This conversation uses the TV broadcast software Mimo Live, and we also use Zoom. You can watch Conversations with Tony Mobley on my website, conversationswithTonyMobley.com. We use an interactive chat. It's called Mukana. There you can ask questions. Those questions can be voted up or down. And if you choose not to use Mukana, well, you can just ask your question in the YouTube chat. And today I have my good friend that I met at the beginning of the pandemic. We have had a ball interacting with each other in a variety of different capacities through the office hours community. My guest today is Rabbi David Paskin, the Torah Tech Guy. He is the host of the Rundown, an office hours show, and the Zoom Test Kitchen. And we are happy to have him today, taking time from his family. And he is here with us today. Welcome, Rabbi David Paskin. When he always hits me on the hand because he just wants me to call him David.
Brother Tony, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
God bless. I'm doing really, really well. Thank
Good,
God, as we
good.
say. Thank God. Yeah.
Absolutely. So today, we're going to you've been on several times, particularly with our education panels, and we're just going to ask you to do the first question, is just a brief bio of who you are for those people who don't know.
Yeah. So I'm David. I am a dad, a husband. I'm a rabbi, and I work down here in Miami, Florida. I run all the educational programs at a temple down here. So the preschool, the religious school, the elementary school, the high school, all that good stuff. And I love playing around with technology. So I've become the Torah Tech Guy. I have done a lot of trainings. I help a lot of folks with specifically around video presentations or audio video work. Although if you were listening before the show to Mickey trying to help me with my audio, you wouldn't think I would know anything about this stuff, but I at least pretend very, very well that I do. And my new love is vibe coding. That's my new toy. So I love hanging out with Tony. So
you have to tell us just a little bit about vibe coding for those people who don't know you.
sure. So vibe coding is when people like me who don't know what they're doing pretend that we're actually developers. I just got back yesterday from a trip to California. I was out in California for 2 days visiting my brother and sister-in-law, both of whom work at Google in artificial intelligence. They are actual coders. He had his PhD in artificial intelligence 20 years before any of us ever knew what artificial intelligence was. They do the real thing, I do the fake thing. So, but it's actually something we'll look at today in Canva, because this is one of their big announcements recently, is that now you can use natural language to create websites or progressive web apps or things that really can take the place in some cases of other tools that you might otherwise pay for. So it's pretty cool stuff.
All right. So we're going to get into it right now. What is Canva?
So standard, whatever disclosure, I don't work for Canva. I don't get a kickback from Canva. I have no relationship whatsoever with Canva other than I've been a user for many years. It sounds like I take some illicit drugs or something. I have been a user of Canva for many, many years. Canva started, I think, like most things, even like Zoom started as a video conferencing platform, and now it's become so much more. Canva, the same, really started as a design platform, right? Letting anyone can design was sort of their thing. Anyone can design. And they put together a really competent suite of tools to let everyone design. to create lots of different graphics, to mix and match. It was all WYSIWYG. It was all drag and drop. They had a ton of stuff in their library, especially if you're on the Pro plan. They have a ton of images and what do you call it? Not just images, but graphics and artwork, all that stuff in their library that you can take advantage of, and then you can upload your own. And so for years now, a lot of us who don't know how to use the fancy tools, the real tools, we use Canva, and it's pretty darn good enough, right? It's good enough. It gets the job done. Like with everything, if you just use it off the shelf, if you use these tools off the shelf, then you are going to look like everyone else. So you have to make it your own. You have to spend some time. You have to learn. I can, in the same way that you can sort of, those of us who spend enough time around AI, you can spot AI from a mile away in some cases. The same is true with Canva designs. I think you can spot a Canva design from miles away unless the person really takes the time to make it their own and make it unique. And then this year, so that's how it started. And then what it's become, or what it's trying to become, I should say, again, like Zoom, is your everything platform. It's trying to become your productivity platform, your creation platform. And that now includes not just design elements, but it includes docs, it includes sheets, it includes whiteboards, it includes video, it includes websites, emails. And the latest thing now is vibe coding, which they built into it earlier this year. So it is, it is becoming much more than it started out as. I think there's good and bad to that, to be honest with you, Tony. I think, sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. I've never been impressed with the AI in Canva. Maybe if I used it more, maybe I would be more impressed. But the few times I've jumped into it, it hasn't wowed me. But there are some amazingly cool things that Canva does offer that no other platform does.
It hasn't wowed me either. But I thought that was a user error, so I didn't.
But that's why, that's why I said that, Tony, because it may be. Like, I always want to hedge my criticism, because it may just be that I haven't spent enough time and I'm not really using it in the way that I should be using it.
Right. So I want to encourage our audience to please ask David questions about Canva, particularly if you're an educator. We're going to talk about a new benefit to educators down the line. We're not going to talk about it right now, but we want to get the audience ready. So come on and ask your questions in Mukana or in the YouTube chat. And so the next question is, before using Canva, what did you use?
Oh, wow. What a great question. Yeah, you know what? There really weren't any good options for us. I used a lot of Google Drawings. I used a lot of clip art. In fact, I happen to be looking at my Canva, and I just made a new little booklet. It's a prayer booklet, but it's a little booklet for my kids in my school. And I was comparing it to the old one that we used to use. And the old one had clip art in it. That's what it had. And this new one, it's a completely different. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Hold on a second. Let's say we want to do that screen. Here it is. This one, it was not created by AI, but the artwork was made by AI. And it's a whole different level. So this is built, it's built in Canva, but the elements weren't created in Canva. So this image was created outside of Canva, and then I brought it in. Text I typed in myself, but then I laid it all out in Canva. But before, Could I have made these little boxes around text in Google Drawings? Sure. Did I have the fine control that I have here? No. So before this, it was a lot of Google Drawings. It was a lot of clip art. I'm sure there were tools I'm forgetting about, but I was never like a Photoshop user. I was never an Adobe Illustrator user. I just never got into those tools. I never really needed them. I'm making silly stuff. I'm making flyers. I'm making, you know, little silly social posts. So I don't need the serious stuff. But that's a great question. What did you use before Canva?
Yeah, I used most of everything was kind of free. If it was free and a graphics tool, I tried it, and I played with it, and I was able to get done basically the things that I needed to get done. Um, and I would say that I think that most of what I did was better than good enough, but not professional, if you know what I mean. So at different times, I had access to Photoshop and Illustrator and PageMaker. I mean, I played with PageMaker
I
quite a
remember
bit.
PageMaker, sure. Yeah.
In the early days, I was really one of those wannabe PageMaker users that could be dangerous because because the graphics and the illustration were not always aligned in the way that a professional would. But
Right.
for an amateur, it was okay. So yeah, so
You
it's
know
kind
what?
of funny now when I think about it. But
You know what
I
you just
did use.
made me think of, Tony, is one of the things that Canva changed for me, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this on a show that's being recorded for all eternity, but I'm going to say it anyway, is when I used to search for images to use, and I was never using these images to make money. They were all internal or little flyers or things like that. But when I did my Google search for images, I wasn't always changing the filter to, not copyrighted. Like there were times when the only images I had access to, or the only images that would work, were ones that other people owned. And because I wasn't using them to make money, I probably didn't. I probably should have, but I probably didn't think about it as much. And one of the things that Canva has given us is, I rarely have to go to a place like pond5.com, which is a sort of a repository of images. I rarely have to go to a place like that to get images because there's so much free good stuff well, it's not free, you pay for the pro plan, but it's so much in their library.
I agree. Yeah, I did a little bit of that as well,
Yep.
but I was able to find a lot of, and I can't even tell you what the websites were. I think I paid like $1.99 or $2 and something for access to some graphics. I don't even remember you know, how I paid for it, but I know it wasn't very much, and it was tons and tons of stuff. And you had to kind of look through it because some of it was a lot better than others. But yeah, that was the old days, really old days.
And what's changed now, Tony, because it's changing again now, is that now fewer and fewer people are using, I think, this is me speculating. I'll just speak for myself. I am using fewer of the images available to me in Canva and other tools like that, and I'm opting instead to create my own images using AI. And again, if you're not thoughtful about it, you end up with AI slop. But if you are thoughtful about it and you take your time with it and you hone that skill, you can really come up with some solid options. And here's one of the really powerful things that Canva offers that I don't know that really any of the other ones do. You can create something in OpenAI, for example. I could create a social post over in OpenAI, and then I can tell ChatGPT, open this in Canva. it will open it in Canva, but what it will do is it will actually convert it so that each element of the social post is editable in Canva. It's now a Canva design, almost like a template if you think of it, but it's a Canva design.
Ah,
So unlike in ChatGPT, you create an image and then you just have to prompt against that image. You can't fine tune really. You certainly can't edit yourself. In Canva, you can. So I don't know. Do you want to try something? Should we just try is this the
yes,
Canva
try
demonstration?
because this is one of the reasons why we're having this conversation tonight, because I got a question down the line that's related to this. So I
All right.
almost want to ask it now, but we're gonna let you share. And while David is sharing, I'm going to encourage you to. This is a great opportunity, particularly if you're educators and you're using Canva. Even if you're using the free Canva, this is a great opportunity to ask Rabbi David Paskin a question about Canva.
All right. So I'm putting in a prompt, July 29th at 8 p.m. All right. East. So I just put it, I'm going to go ahead over to just so everyone can see what I'm doing. So I just went over here and I'm going to create a social post promoting conversation with Tony Mobley where we'll be discussing Canva on and I'm going to say create this in at Canva and let's see what happens. Now what it should do, and I've had I've had on and off luck with this. Sometimes it is connected to Canva now. It said, should I use one of your Canva brand kits or create it with a polished tech-focused Canva style using Canva's purple blue palette? Let's, what are your brand colors, Tony? Do you have brand colors?
Purple,
Use
purple and
purple,
black, purple, black and white.
use purple, black, and white. Um, Sometimes it's worked really, really well, meaning being able to open it over in Canva and then edit it. Other times it hasn't. One of the strange things about this new Canva AI and all of the ways that they're integrating it is that it's hit or miss what you can actually edit. I'll just show you while that's working. So before we came on, I just went into Canva Code and I said, create an interactive quiz on Technology 101. And I'm right now in the editing phase, so I can just click up here and I can, change this, no problem. I can change the color. I can do any of this. But this down here, I can't do anything with. I can't edit that at all. So I could change this image, and I can change the background of this, but I can't change the background of these. So it's a little hit or miss as to how much control you have, but at least you have some control.
Okay.
And so that's a plus. Let's see if this is all right. So here we go. Conversation with Tony Mobley. Now the question is, so I don't want to download it. Then now the question is, see, here's that hit or miss thing, right? So I want to edit this image in Canva. Let's see what happens now. See, I thought because I called upon the Canva plugin that it would do that, but it didn't. I just want to say again, because you said it before, Tony, and you're so right. I'm 99% sure that most of the stuff that I screw up is my fault and not the fault of the technology. But I don't know. So we'll see. Connection interrupted, waiting for the complete answer. So we can keep talking. We can come back to this and take a look. Oh, well, here
Okay.
it is. Okay, wait a second. So I got something, and now I have an edit button here, but I can't do anything with that. Oh, yes, I can. Edit. So I'm not, it's for some reason, it's not, I don't know why it's not connecting it to Canva. It should be.
Okay.
In any case, go ahead.
Well, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's not
That's
bad.
that's okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull in a question that I had planned for toward the end of our conversation. So I sometimes create thumbnails in Canva and then put the image in ChatGPT. I mix results for Conversation with Tony Mobley and my House of Worship teams. Have you gotten mixed results also? And when I say mixed results, I'm talking about if I create a thumbnail for Conversation with Tony Mobley, or if I create a thumbnail for the House of Worship, I think it looks okay. Not, fantastic, but better than what I could have done. Because with me doing it,
Canva or with AI?
Yes, better than what I could do in Canva. So I create this thumbnail in Canva, and then I put it in images in ChatGPT. It improves what I did in Canva, right? But the people, for the most part, are always off just a little bit, right? And so I asked ChatGPT, I said, well, I want you not to edit the photographs because most of the time it's more than one image. Do not edit the photographs. Let the photographs stay as they are. But it looks enough like the person that you know who it's supposed to be, but it's still a little bit off, right? But I was looking at it and I was thinking, well, it's not that bad. We could work with it, right? So with the House of Worship, they don't like any of it, right? The Conversation with Tony Mobley team, they're not too happy about it either. They would rather me fumble around, both situations would rather me fumble around in Canva and just use whatever it is I do in Canva. And so for me, it's a challenge. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have the conversation today, because, like if we were showed the thumbnail for this conversation that we're having right now, it was hard for me to line you up exactly right in the circle. It was just a little bit off, and I'd be going through it and trying to tweak it. And then I would ask ChatGPT, how do I fix this? How do I fix this in Canva, right? So how do I fix this in Canva? And it was says, well, if you do it on your iPad, then you're going to tap the screen twice where the image is, and then you can make an adjustment. If you're using your Mac, then you're going to click twice on the face, and then you can align it. So I do all that, and I align it. And I said, well, I got it almost there, but it's not quite. And so, I'm notorious for this. I share the images of Conversation with Tony Mobley and the House of Worship with people before I publish it to YouTube, or, schedule it on YouTube. And so sometimes I get, people are just, you need to work on that some more. Or I'll have some people that say, well, allow me to come in and fix it, and they'll go in and fix it. And so it's little things like, a face is going in one direction and it really should be going in the other direction, and all of that. And when me trying to do it, it's a struggle. But
some of that, if you put together the ChatGPT image creation or whatever tool you use and the Canva work, sometimes that'll work. So I figured out the problem we were having before. So here's the image, right? Of that we just made, and I used work instead of chat. That's the key. And if you click on customize this design, it'll take you to here. So this is what we just created. But now if you see, every single piece of this is editable. It's sort of taken the image apart. So if we wanted to put, a face in here, I could, if I find a face, I don't know, I need a face. Let's find a face. I want to find a face that I'm allowed to use, which I'll just use this face, right? So I can now put this in here. I can make it circle. I can, whatever. I could do whatever I wanted with that. And so being able to generate something in AI, bring it in here, really then make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you're kind of at a different level. You're not just taking the default of what AI gives you, but you're using that as a source of inspiration. And that's what I've done a few times. Is that I'll ask Chat to make something for me. I'll bring that into Canva just to use as a reference image for inspiration. And in fact, that's what I did with that little booklet I was showing before. I asked Chat to design something, and then I just used that as inspiration to recreate myself.
Okay. That may be the path to go forward. Just because I look, there are little things, and being a part of the office hours community, we're getting into this thing where we're constantly pushing ourselves for things to be perfect, which that's not a reality. That's not reality for anything to be perfect. And to be able to replicate perfection all the time is not something that's realistic either. But there is this desire to to push the envelope and for things to get better. And so I've been playing around with a few different designs and stuff. I was going to show you, but I'm not. I didn't talk to the team about sharing so much. There's only one thing that I'm going to share, but I'll wait a little while before I share that. And again, this is a great opportunity for you to ask questions for Rabbi David. This Canva conversation is a way, and I think I'm paying like $12 and maybe $13 or less than $13 for the pro version of Canva. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not getting anything from Canva, but it is a good tool, particularly if you're an educator or if you're a house of worship and you need to create graphics, flyers, any kind of paraphernalia for your church or your house of worship or your school. Canva is a great tool, and I'll just go ahead and we ask David what his thoughts are on the 1 year of free Canva for educators.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I would look it's $144 for a full year of pro. That's without any education discounts. It's worth it. Like it's just it. I think we sometimes don't realize what we're getting. I mean, this is an unbelievable. Even understanding that this is not what the pros use. For everybody else, for 99.98% of the world, this is an amazing tool, and you get it for less than $150 a year. I mean, that's an absolute steal. You get brand kits, you get the Canva stuff, you got magic layers. That's another cool thing about that Canva just introduced, by the way, is magic layers. We can talk about that. That's how it's deconstructing these different images. You've got all the templates, you've got all the premium photos, videos, graphics, audio. It's absolutely worth it, 100%. And if you're an educator, you get it for free, I think so.
Yeah, it's free for 12 months. I think it's the best one of the best deals that's available right now. And so if you do any type of graphics, you need to look at that. And it works for small groups as well as large groups. Canva, there's also Canva Enterprise. I have no need to explore that, but the pro version, I think I'm paying $13 or less than $13 a month for it. And everything I do for Conversation with Tony Mobley or everything that I do for the congregation that I work with, I do using Canva. And some of it is really good. And some of it is, but that's me. That's because of the user error. So,
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's
Let me.
again part of we wanted to have this conversation today because I feel like there are some people like me that are um, still novices. I've been playing around with it for a few years, but I really haven't put my all into it in terms of the things that I know that I could do with Canva. So go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted to mention this magic layers thing that they've done here. So this is just a random image that it's just a picture that I put into Canva, and then I said, all right, do the magic layers thing. And what it's done is just like in that image, the AI image, it has taken this and it's separated every piece of this image. It makes me think a little bit about the perspective feature in Apple's new in their camera, how you can sort of change the perspective. But I mean, look at this. I can change where the paper goes. I mean, this is sort of wild if you ask me. Um,
Wow.
it's not, but I don't know. There's and again, I think that this is something that sets Canva apart in so much. And again, you can do this in the professional tools. I'm not
Absolutely.
suggesting I'm not suggesting this is new, but for us, it's new. Right? For us, it's new. And to be able to have this kind of control. So if I want, you said before, you want someone facing the other way. Well, I can now select her and now she's facing the other way,
Hmm.
this child. So there you go. Um, I mean, that's kind of powerful, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess they're not going to take advantage of this opportunity, David. So we're just going to continue to just
Let's
share and
talk.
have a conversation and
Let's
just
talk.
and just talk about Canva. So I did ask ChatGPT a couple of questions to ask you. So can we go to those questions?
We can, but I'm terrified. But go ahead.
Okay. So we have a question from Laura Thompson. I have never seen a worksheet or handout that was made using Canva, but screen reader friendly. The PDF outputs is just an image, not any form of accessible accessibility text. Is this a program limitation or companies and content creators not using it correctly?
So I'm not sure I fully understood the question. Um,
Yeah, I'm going to read it again.
yeah, read it one more time.
I have never seen a worksheet or handout that was made using Canva be screen reader friendly. The PDF output is just an image, not any form
Okay.
of accessible text. Is this a program limitation or companies and content creators not using it correctly?
Right. Okay. I think Laura. Hi, by the way. So I think I'm following you. Um, so let's talk about PDFs. There's some good news when it comes to PDFs um, and Canva. One piece of good news is that when you import a PDF, the PDF itself also becomes editable. So all the individual lines, for example. Let's see, I should have an example somewhere here in all of my stuff of uh, is this a good example? I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. So this is let me just delete these names real quick. Okay, so this is just a state form. Oh, sorry, if you can make me full screen there. I apologize for that. Thank you. So this is just a state form. It was a PDF that I uploaded, and again, it deconstructed it, and I can now, make changes to this and move things around. And I can't edit the text. Didn't OCR the PDF, but at least I have some flexibility in this. So on the inbound, it makes PDFs much more accessible to those of us who want to manipulate them. That's that. On the let me go back actually, and I'll show you on when you're exporting, you have a few different options. So if you go to share and download, you can choose PNG, JPEG, PDF standard, or PDF print. I almost always do PDF print, and I don't really have any need to download a PDF that I'm just going to send to someone. If I'm going to download a PDF, I'm going to print it. I want it to look good. So I'm not sure if one of those two, if choosing the print version would help at all. PDFs, as I understand it, unless they are specifically designed to be interactive, to be filled out, they're just flat, smushed down documents. So I'm not sure how, and this again may be my naivete, I'm not sure how much more accessible they could be. But as far as exporting, getting something out, it's not creating an image. It is exporting the PDF, and there are two different ways to do it: either standard or print. You cannot export. Well, you know what, Laura? I'm actually now I'm wondering if maybe instead of doing PDFs, that's when you would want to come over and do a doc, right? Because in a doc, you can export this as Word or bring it into Google Docs, and then it would be much more accessible. I never use Canva docs, but that is something here. And I wonder actually, you know what? Let's just. I wonder if I have a
Laura
PDF.
just came in with another question. A flyer created by Canva, like the book you showed earlier, the exported by Canva as an image.
So you can do that. You can absolutely do that. You could bring in a PDF and then export it as an image. That's not the work for that booklet that I did. I imported images, and then I created the text and I put everything together. Then I exported it as a PDF, and then I printed it. I'm looking just for a PDF. Here's a PDF. So I'm just bringing in a PDF. I'm going to. So I was able to bring this PDF into this this Canva doc, and now I can kind of resize it and play around with it as if it were almost an image. You know, I can kind of move it around as if it were an image. And then I could export this or download this as, again, PDF standard or docx. So docs in Canva, you can only export as PDF or Microsoft Word document. If you're just doing a design, however, I can export this in a whole bunch of different options. Again, going back to the PDF standard, PDF print. One other thing, Tony, I'll just point out, this is brand new and I can't believe it took this long. Up until, I don't know, a couple months ago, if you wanted to print something from Canva, you had to go to share, download the image or the PDF, and then print it. Now, you can just hit Command P or Control P, and it will just print it natively. It will ask you, hey, do you want to print this to your computer, to your printer, or do you want to print it through Canva? But now it'll do this automatically, and it never did that before. So you
that's a great update. That's a great update. Yeah,
yeah. So if you just want to print, you don't need to download or export anymore.
Okay, so we're down to one of the two AI questions that I put in our queue today. So here's the first one. Canva has evolved from a simple design tool into a platform for presentations. And this question was generated using AI specifically to ask Rabbi David Paskin about this. So I want to be clear about that. And also at the end, I'm giving AI credit for the question. Canva has evolved from a simple design tool into a platform for presentations, AI, video, websites, collaboration. In your experience, what's the biggest misconception people have about Canva, and what are they missing?
That's a really good question. Um, I think that they are missing what I'm missing, which is getting the most out of it, using all of the tools to their most, to the most. I mean, I don't really create slide decks anymore, but you mentioned presentations. You can now, just like you can in Zoom and all these other places, you can now come in here and you can generate pitch decks and slide decks. And again, one of the beautiful things about Canva is that once you create it, everything is editable. So, right. So I'm going to go ahead and choose apply all pages. So this is just one of their templates, right? I didn't even do anything here, but I have an 11-page slide, but each of these, everything in here is editable. I can move any of this stuff around. I can replace objects. I can do any of that. That to me is the power of Canva. So using all of these tools, getting the most out of them is, I think, probably what we're all missing. What mistake are we making is, and I think this is universal, this is not Canva, but letting these tools do the work for us.
Yeah,
And
if I could
I'm
just,
guilty of that. I'm guilty of that.
I think part of it, at least I know for me, is that I'm not putting in as much time in it as I should, and you know, because we were wearing so many different hats, you know, in a perfect world, you know, the church team and the conversation with Tony Mobley team would have a person that does nothing but graphics, right?
Right.
So we all wear a lot of different hats, and so I think that if I had to say there was any one thing, that we just need to invest a little bit more time in it, and maybe not a lot more time, but just a little bit more time. And I the last comment you made, one of the things that appealed to me was, particularly with the house of worship, there are a lot of different images that Canva will create, and the fact that you can edit the image. And I just for example, like there's a particular Bible that's showing, and you don't like that particular Bible, well, you can change it, and it doesn't affect the total design of the program or whatever that you're doing. So I think that's great. But yeah, we
I,
need to spend a little
I,
bit more time with it.
again, I think that's really the one element or one leg up that Canva has over some of the other tools is the fact that, this is the fact that we can edit afterward. I think
Hmm.
that when I think about, we were talking about vibe coding before, and people who vibe code websites, for example, I don't really understand that because I'm always wanting to tweak my website. And the last thing I would want to do is to have to keep spending money talking to an AI to make little edits that I can do in 2 seconds. So my websites, I do those in Wix or Weebly or what's the big one? I'm forgetting the name. GoDaddy,
Squarespace.
Squarespace, right? Um, it- I want, and although interestingly, Wix just announced that now you can create your front end in Lovable or one of those, and then move that, connect it, and they'll do the back end for that, which I thought was interesting. But I want I like being able to edit. I like being able to get my hands a little dirty in this stuff. And so that's the one thing that I really love about Canva is that in all these other tools, if I want to make a little edit, really what I have to do is I might be able to select the area of the image, but I'm still having to just chat with the AI and hope that it gets it right, as opposed to I can actually just type in the text that I want there. And so that I really appreciate about this. And what you said before about take a little more time, Tony, I think that um, there's a mountain in the Middle East that a lot of people climb called Masada. And there are three different ways to get up Masada. You can climb what's called the snake path, which takes about 45 minutes. It's really hard. or you can climb the Roman ramp, which takes about 20 minutes, not so hard, or you can take the cable car. All three ways get you to the top, but your experience at the top is drastically different depending on which way you got up. Right? If you take the snake path, the 45 minutes really hard, and you get to the top, that is an experience. I mean, because you worked for it, you
Right.
like if you take the cable car, okay, you get to the top. It's still cool. You still have a beautiful view, but it's not the same. And I think that one of the pieces that I want us to hold on to is the idea that if we work hard on something, it will the experience will be better for us and for everyone else, rather than just having AI take care of it for us. I give a lot to AI, but that doesn't mean that I give up my agency and my ownership and all the goodness that comes with really working hard.
And speaking of AI, here's the second AI question. You spent years helping people communicate through technology. If you could teach every church, nonprofit, educator, or small business just one Canva skill that would immediately improve how they tell their story, what would it be?
That's a really good question too. Um, can I have more than one?
Sure.
Okay. Um, I mean, there are a lot of little things, I'm thinking, for example, about resizing, right? That it used to be, so here I'll open up, I've been working on a little toy called Show Hub. And this is just sort of a header about this. I can now create multiple size pages on the same document. So before, every page in a doc or in a file had to be exactly the same. If I click, for example, just add page, it's going to make the exact same size. But if instead I go over here and I say, you know what, I'd like to do custom size. I want this to be 1920 by 1080. And now it's going to create a new page, 1920 by 1080. And so now I can use the same, I could even copy all of this, put it down here, and now I can start editing on this larger canvas. If I want to just use this, but I want to have it automatically sort of resized, going up here to resize, and I want to resize it to, let's just do 1,000 by 1,000, copy and resize. It's now going to take this. It's probably not going to do a great job, but let's see. It didn't. But I can very easily now take this and resize things and kind of put them in the right place and all of that. So reusing what I have and resizing things, I think is really helpful for me, and being able to have multiple sizes in the same document. Here's another one for you that I do all the time. So I use, let's add to this an element, and I'm just gonna put in here the word frame, because I want one of these. So if I put a frame here, a frame is essentially just a placeholder. And then I come over to images, and let's just do a picture of a happy person. So now if I grab this image and I just pop it in there, I now have this happy person. Ignore all this other stuff; it's not important. So and this is what I do with Zoom Test Kitchen, for example, right? So now I can create a template here, and next week when I want a different image, if I don't want that happy person, I want this happy person, I just drag it from over here, pop it on top, and it instantly changes it. So when you have sort of a complex design and you want to just be able to change the image really quickly, let's see, where's Zoom Test Kitchen? Here it is. Right. Every week, all I really have to do is go over here, find the image that I want, and then I can just drop it right in there.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing with the teachers and
right. And if you're going for a consistent look, this is probably not best practice to have the same thing every week, but I'm lazy. So, but if you're going for a consistent look, it's a great way to do it. And having those sort of placeholders is really, I find that to be really powerful. So that, the sizing, what else? Oh, and then this thing that I was showing you before about, being able to, where is it? Like, let's try it with this picture. Let's try and do the magic layers. So it's now going to take this picture of this woman, which was just a stock photo. It's going to separate all the layers so that I can then move her or turn her, things like that. This is
Okay.
incredibly powerful if it
Yes,
works.
it is.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
All right, here we go. Wait, so it just finished, so I'll just show you.
okay.
All right, so here's the image. Okay, you know what? Let me just get a clean page here because that's not easy to see. Clean page. There we go. All right, so here's the thing. Now I just click out, and now I can take her out completely. Or I can put her back in and turn her the other way, as you said before. So
Wow.
it's cool. It's powerful stuff.
Yes, it is. So I'm gonna share a little something with you, and you tell me if you remember this.
Oh, sure. I remember that.
So this is my real first attempt at trying to do something in Canva, and the house of worship that I work with was actually doing a live play in an actual theater in Macon, Georgia. And so I wanted to actually have a playbill. So this actually is one of the final drafts, but the finished product, I couldn't find it in my Canva library, but the finished product was in fact a professional Broadway playbill, and it was thanks to Rabbi David Paskin that I was able to make that happen, and the congregation and the membership and leadership were extremely happy with that real Broadway production playbill. I mean, if you're going to have a professional lighting director and camera operator come all the way from New York City at that time to Macon, Georgia, to do a video production on an actual play for a house of worship, well, you got to have a real playbill. So we were able to have a professional playbill, and again, thank you.
I happen to have it in my Canva account also. That same one, the image of the gavel that you used, right? That, I think that was probably just a Canva image, and the playbill, I imagine maybe that probably wasn't Canva. I'm guessing we got that from somewhere else. But it's really it's pretty powerful.
I'll confess, I pulled it from an actual Broadway playbill. I
won't tell if you don't tell. Don't tell anyone.
So it's 3 years old. Statute of limitations, I'm sure, has run out on that. So
I will tell you, Tony, that I'm trying to remember where I had a website. It was an educational website that I built, really obscure. Like, I never promoted it. I never shared it with anyone. And I had clip art on there that was not. I had a piece of clip art. Somehow, they sent their bots out and they found it and they said,
"Wow,
take this down." It was a silly, ridiculous piece of clip art, but look, people created this stuff, and nowadays we kind of expect everything to be for free, but people work hard to create this stuff, so we should honor them for it.
So, I'm guilty of taking the yellow bar that said playbill. That's what I'm guilty of.
I forgive you, my son.
So we're down to the last question. You're speaking to the world. What do you want the world to know?
Be creative. We have the most amazing tools at our disposal. We've got Canva. We've got Affinity, which is a part of Canva now. We have
Hmm.
all of these AIs. We've got, just everything, Google, Zoom, these unbelievable tools at our disposal. We can be so creative. We can have so much fun. We can teach so much. We can inspire so much. Um, get into them, play with them. The best way to learn these tools is to press every button you possibly can. Just start clicking. At least that's how I learn. I just click everything. And eventually I've clicked enough that I kind of figure it out. And then the next time when I click the wrong thing, oh, okay. And then I figure that out. We live in an amazing time. We really do.
If people want to reach you, how do they best reach you?
I am everywhere. You can hit me on Discord. You can visit my website, tortechguy.com. You can find me on, I never go on the social media anymore, but hit me up on Discord in the Office Hours community, anywhere. I'd love to hang out and schmooze with anyone.
Thank you, Rabbi David Paskin. Thank you for being part of our conversation today, doing the work you do, and for being the person who you are. And we want to say special thanks. You want to mention what you're doing tomorrow night and Friday afternoon?
Tomorrow night, the rundown, it's not just me doing it, it's Tony doing it too. We're talking about the new Luddites and when is it okay for us to say, you know what, no more of this stuff, no more of this tech. When is it okay for us to turn it off and say we want to do old school? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. And Friday, we're going to jump back into the test kitchen and start testing things out over in the Zoomiverse.
Thank you. You can watch Conversation with Tony Mobley on YouTube or my website, conversationwithtonymobley.com. Conversations with Tony Mobley is produced by Clarlock Lopez Waterman. Our current team is Laura Thompson, Zachary Sorensen, Mickey McAture. Thank you, sir. Thank you, team. Thank you, Mimo Live. Thank you, Zoom, for making this broadcast possible. We have conversations with real people. Next week, stay tuned for our guest announcement. Please feel free to donate your time, your talent, your financial gift. We are committed to getting better, and your support makes that possible. We also love to have you join our growing community. Like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube so that we can continue bringing you meaningful conversations here at Conversations with Tony Mobley. We believe that when people sit down and truly talk, something powerful happens. So consider having a conversation today. It just might change everything. Please take care wherever you are in the world, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.